Hello, my stamping friends. This is Renee Novak at blessedbycards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I'm here today with another weekly Wednesday video. Today, I'm going to share with you 4 different cards, and I created another one-sheet wonder using the 6x6 Designer Series paper. This time, I'm using the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, hop on over to my blog at blessedbycards.com and order yourself a pack of this delightful paper. Also on my blog, you can download this free PDF of all the measurements that you will need to create each card. So for your 6x6 paper, your first cut is going to be at 1.5, and then you're going to cut that 1.5 strip at 5 1/4. Your second cut will be 3 inches. You're going to cut a 3x3, and then you're going to cut 3 pieces 1x3 for the second and third card. And for the last card, you're going to have a strip of 1.5 by 6 left, and you're going to simply cut those in 1.5 inch squares. So today I thought that before I share all the other cards with you, we would go through card C, which is the 3 1x3 inch strips. I'm starting with a piece of evening evergreen that measures 5.5 by 8.5. It's scored at 4 1/4. This will create your card. Then a layer on top of that is going to be mint macaron, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's just go ahead, and with that mint macaron that measures 4 by 5 1/4, we're just going to stick that right on top of our evening evergreen. Now this is a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch square of evening evergreen. I have a piece of 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 misty moonlight, and on top of each one of those I have adhered our 1 by 3 inch strips, and that is going to go on the front of our card. So I'm just going to again apply a little snail, and we're going to stick that right down on the front of our card. I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus and the Evening Evergreen ink. I'm using the Merry Christmas from the Evening Elegance stamp set. So I'm just going to stick my card in here. Because it's kind of bulky, I've already created it, I am going to use my magnet. And I'm going to just open up my Evening Evergreen. I'm going to apply some ink. I've already pre-positioned my Merry Christmas. And I'm just going to stamp that straight down on my card. And I want that to be a nice dark image, which is why I'm using the Stamparatus, so I can stamp a second time. That turned out beautifully with the Stamparatus. So that is the third card. I'm going to bring back in my template to show you. Card A would have been using the 1.5 by 5 1/4 inch strip. I just adhered that on the front of the card, and I layered it with some evening evergreen, some cherry cobbler, and I mounted it on a misty moonlight card base. I cut from the Stitch So Sweetly dies a layer of cherry cobbler and a layer of white. I stamped the Christmas Begins with Christ from the set For Unto Us. And you can put a layer of white inside that would measure 4 by 5 1/4, and you would simply adhere that in here, and you could stamp it however you would like. I did mount this final layer with Stampin' Dimensionals. So card B, or card number 2, was using the 3 by 3, and I mounted that on some cherry cobbler, and then I mounted that on a piece of mint macaron. Again, I used the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and this Merry Christmas is from the same For Unto Us stamp set. And again, if you want to layer the inside with a piece of 4 by 5 1/4, then you could decorate your inside. And we did together card C, which is card number 3, with our 3 strips of 1 by 3. And the final card, card D, using the 1.5-inch squares, I used a layer of vanilla underneath, and I popped this sentiment up. This is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies as well, and I stamped from the Peaceful Deer bundle, and I stamped the deer and punched him out, and I stamped him and fussy cut him with my paper snips. But I did pop up the sentiment. And all I did was position my 1.5-inch squares evenly on my piece of Very Vanilla. The greeting accents in Very Vanilla. And then if you want, on the inside, I did put a piece of Very Vanilla that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I stamped this tree from the Peaceful Deer stamp set. So that is card number 4, or D. So there you have 4 very easy cards that you can create from one 6 by 6 designer series paper. Thanks for joining me for this weekly Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe to my blog so you don't miss any future videos. And if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, be sure to hop over onto my blog at blessedbycards.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be blessed.